Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So this is my part 2 of if I had to start my fragrance collection from scratch. In the first part, I talked about some advice and some experiences of, starting a new fragrance collection. If you haven't watched it, I'm going to link it somewhere up here. But as I mentioned in that video, I also wanted to share with you some fragrance recommendations. If somebody is starting from scratch, what fragrances would I recommend for them to get? And, again, the size of fragrance collection is very subjective. It's different for everyone. For some people, their collection could be 10 fragrances. For some, they need 100. For some, they might want much, much more than that. It really depends. But I think 10 for regular collection is more than enough. And at first, when I started thinking about my recommendations, I kept thinking about my, absolute top fragrances that I love. And, then I realized they would be just kind of the ones that are my top 10, and they would all probably fall within the same few categories. And I think it's best if collection is more well-rounded, if you have different styles of fragrances represented in your collection. And so I decided to do it a little bit differently. I chose some different categories of fragrances just so someone will have a well-rounded collection. And then I have a suggestion for each one of those categories. So let's start with the gourmand. Who is surprised that this will be my number one? The one that I will suggest, and I really try to choose the most mass appealing fragrances, at least in my opinion, So the one that I chose is Panettone from Milano Fragranza. I mean, how much I love this fragrance, and I feel like this is a pretty mass appealing gourmand. It truly smells like panettone bread. It's this kind of fluffy, white, sweet bread with raisins and oranges and other dried fruits, and even drizzled a little bit with something boozy, some alcohol. That's what it smells like, but I feel like all the elements are very, very well balanced. They don't stand out, they don't overpower the fragrance. And so I think this is just a gorgeous gourmand, and for someone starting out, I think it's a good starting gourmand. Of course, you will also need a vanilla in your collection. And again, I tried to go with a pretty straightforward vanilla, and that is Vanille Chanel from Epico. To me, this is vanilla, This is a sweet bakery vanilla with maybe a little bit of caramel, maybe a touch of some fruitiness. Yeah, that's maybe just a very small touch of muskiness, but not really. Yeah, this is just a straightforward sweet vanilla. Again, I think pretty mass appealing, and for someone starting out, this would be an easy vanilla to handle. There should also be a floral fragrance in the collection, and I decided to go with Delina La Rosée. Now, the whole Delina line is kind of, classic, I think, in a floral category. But I specifically wanted to go with La Rosée because I feel like this one is the most easygoing out of the three, the most mass appealing. For someone new in the fragrance world, this is the easiest one to handle and to like, because the original Delina has that sharpness from the rhubarb, and then Delina Exclusive has the oud in it. So I thought, no, but this one is just a beautiful floral. You know, it's a rose with a few maybe other florals. It's a little bit powdery. It's a little bit musky. It's very fresh. It's gorgeous, gorgeous scent. At the same time, even rose is not too strong in here. So overall, it's just such a feminine, balanced floral scent. Quite inoffensive in my opinion. And so yeah, this is my recommendation for a floral scent. Another type of fragrance that I think is a must in the collection is an amber scent. And amber can be very different. You know, we can have very cold, spicy amber. We can have very warm and sweet amber. And obviously, I lean towards the more warm, sweet amber. And I think it's easier to handle. And I think this type of amber is more feminine. So the one that I chose is Amber d'Alexandri from Boucheron. I find this to be very smooth, very sweet, very warm type of amber. It has some spiciness. It has some fruity elements. Maybe even a slight touch of booziness, but it almost leans towards like this apple pie or apple crumble or something like that. Like for me, it doesn't exactly get there 100%, but it almost gets there. But to me, it still feels like very much an ambery scent, but so comforting, so warm, so beautiful. Again, I find this very, very inoffensive. I think many people will enjoy this type of scent. So this is my choice for an amber fragrance. Well, of course, you will also need a fruity type of scent. And here I'm going with Pink Me Up from Atelier d'Ors. I'm going with this one because I really enjoy it. I mean, obviously, there's so many other fruity scents out there. You can, you know, the choices are almost unlimited, you know, but I love this one, and that's the one I'm going to recommend. This one has raspberry in it. It might have some other berries or fruits. I don't know. It has some, I think, florals in here as well. It has some sweetness in it. It almost has a slight powdery touch and a slight kind of lipsticky vibe, but it's so light and it's so nicely done that it doesn't bother me. And I typically don't like that in a fragrance. It's just, again, so happy, so cheerful, so beautiful. I mean, the bottle is beautiful to look at as well. And I feel like, you know, we wear fruity scents more in the summer, in the warm weather, and this just screams happiness and sunshine to me. So yeah, I'm going with this suggestion. We also need a freshie for the summer, so no surprise here. Very predictable choice. Malibu Party in the Bay. I'm going with my favorite freshie. I mean, this is kind of fresh and a little bit sweet at the same time. You know, this is like your pina colada or some kind of exotic drink, sipping it sitting on the beach somewhere. Just delicious, intoxicating, addictive, gorgeous. Like I said, it's not a pure freshie. Like, it has other nuances. It has some sweetness, it has some coconut, it has some rum in it, which makes it so interesting in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think you can find a better freshie than Malibu. Now, I think you will also need something, you know, stronger and deeper, maybe something that has oud or a little bit of leather in it, kind of for the evening time. And I decided to go with this one. This is Cherry Punk from room, is it 1015 or 1013? I always forget. I think it is 1015, right? So this has some leather in it, and it has a lot of cherries. Such delicious, beautiful cherries. And so I think these cherries really kind of tone down the leather in here. Don't get it to be too much, because, you know, leather and oud, these are challenging notes for many people, including me. But I think the cherry is so beautiful and so delicious and so mouth-watering in this fragrance that it kind of balances out the leather, you know, and the two of them together really work. So yeah, I would say this one. I feel like it's not overpowering on the leather or oud element, but at the same time, it is a little bit deeper, darker, sexier, and would be great, for maybe some kind of occasions, maybe going to a club or to a date somewhere, whatever. For those types of occasions, I think you need this type of scent, and I'm going with Cherry Punk. And then, in addition to sort of different fragrance genres or styles, I also wanted to add 3 more categories. Fragrance for daytime, sort of anytime, fragrance for evening, and a unique fragrance. I love unique scents, I think it's really cool to have something that is really unique to you, that you won't likely find on anyone else. You're unlikely to smell it on anyone else. And so I think it's really interesting to have a unique scent in your collection. And so my unique choice is going to be Liquid from Liquid Imaginaires. I mean, this is truly a unique scent that is so challenging to describe. There is saffron and orange in the opening, and then there are some floral notes, there are solar notes, I think there's some woody notes like sandalwood, and who knows what else. And in the opening, I truly get that spicy saffron with orange. That's really beautiful. I find saffron so well balanced in this fragrance. And then when it dries down, it really becomes like liquid gold. I have no other way of describing this fragrance. It feels like liquid gold. This is such an interesting and unique experience. This fragrance is truly an experience for me, This is not everybody's cup of tea. Not everyone will like it. But if you're looking for something unique and interesting, and if you can get your hands on this one, sample it. This is so interesting. And that leaves us with daytime scent and evening scent. So I struggled a little bit with the daytime scent because I thought, how do I choose? Is it summer? Is it winter? How do I find something universal that works any time of the year? And I decided to go with Imperium from Electimus. And I chose this one because this fragrance has kind of 2 sides to it. First, it has freshness. It has a lot of like freshness, fruitiness from pineapple, citruses, etc. And then the other half of this fragrance is this beautiful, smooth, creamy, slightly sweet vanilla. And so that both parts kind of balance each other out and don't make it into a freshie, and at the same time don't make it into something like heavier, vanillic, sweet type of scent. It's a well-balanced scent, and that's why I think it will work for any time of the year. Cold, warm, doesn't matter. It will also work for any situation. If you're going to the office, if you're staying home, if you're going shopping, whatever you're doing, this scent will work. It is inoffensive. It is not too punchy at the same time. It has really good longevity. So for me, I find this scent quite universal, and that's why I'm picking it for a daytime scent. And then for the evening, of course, I wanted to choose something a little bit heavier, a little bit more interesting, even a little bit more unique maybe. And I decided to go with this gorgeous bottle of Moonlight from Panadora. I just shared it with you in my recent haul. And this fragrance is a true beauty. I even feel like the more it stands and macerates, it gets better. It gets better. This one has, some smokiness from tobacco. It has some woodiness. It has some sweetness. I think it feels like there is honey in here. It has a little bit of spiciness. And, despite all of these sort of heavy and pungent elements that are present here, the fragrance overall is not overpowering and it is quite balanced. And that's why I think that it will not only work in the cold weather, but it will work in the warm weather as well. For going out in the evening, I think this is a beautiful choice. So interesting, so unique, so beautiful. So there you go. These are my recommendations of fragrances for someone starting their fragrance collection. So please let me know, what do you think about these suggestions? And please share with me some of your suggestions. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to give me a thumbs up, to subscribe, and to comment. And I will see you soon in the next one. Bye.